Alright guys, welcome back to another video. We're working on the 2007 GT500 behind me, and we're buttoning up the last couple of things before we can start it up and see how the Corsa Sport sound. So the last couple things we got to do, like I was saying, last video we went ahead and got our belt spacer on, so that's not our pulley spacer on for the hubs. We got to put our belts back on, so that needs to go back together. Got our new belts in, no more marks and funky stuff going on. So accessory belt, supercharger belt. Then over here we have our X pipe, which is going back on. Obviously it's been there, Kooks 3-inch, and then Kooks long tube 3-inch headers, 3-inch collector rather, and then I think it's 7/8 headers. We finally got a set of Corsa Sports on here, so we're gonna go ahead and put these on as well. So as you can see, the mid pipe's hanging down underneath the car at the moment. Tires back on, pretty much everything's back together except for the exhaust. So that's what I'm gonna go ahead and start out and do. So let's go ahead and get our exhaust on. So I'm gonna put the X pipe on, bolt the mid pipes to it, and then we'll work on getting our Corsa Sports lined up. All right, like I said, we're starting off putting the X pipe back in. Pretty straightforward. We got 2 bolts here, 2 bolts there. Our O2 sensors need to get plugged back in, and then that's really about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this under here, get it started, put it on time lapse, and I'm gonna use some jacks to hold up the back end so I can get them where I want it. The factory has 2 nice hooks that go right up around here that go into the trans brace or trans whatever you want to call it. Can't remember. I don't know. I'm gonna call it trans brace, but trans mount, I guess, is the proper term. Now I think about it. Anyway, yeah, this doesn't have that, so jack it up where we want it, tighten down the bolts and everything, and yeah, let's go ahead and get that in real quick. Do that first, and then we'll get our mid pipes attached. X pipe is now installed, nice and level with the body of the car, so it's just barely poking out there, which is where I want it. And now what we gotta go ahead and do is install our over axle pipes. So I've never actually had these things fully out like I did earlier, and they are now. So you can see there's only a tiny little bit of this particular one that was actually clamping on my X pipe right there, so that's not good. I'm gonna go ahead and reposition these clamps, pull it down so it's half and half, and then go ahead and get these guys both lined up. I've always had an issue with that pipe in particular. It always hangs a little off, so when I put it back together after everything else was done with the cams, I was actually getting it was resting on the frame. Don't want that, so we gotta get these things lined up next, and then the muffler hangers, which you can see on the other side of the car over there, are actually what hold up the back side of the pipes off of the frame. So once these are on, we can go ahead and get our mufflers on, and then we're like almost done. All right, so went ahead and got the muffler on the car, as you guys just saw. So I got one lined up perfectly. Pretty easy, actually. So that's just where I want it right there. It's looking good. Other side, I had it even, but it was low. So the way that I understand how to adjust these, so I went ahead and took a board right here, and R for rear, and then F for front, me referring to each of these hangers. Pretty much gonna put it up to it when it's flush. And you can kind of see right there, that is roughly where it's hanging when you push it flat. So the reason for this, you need somewhere to reference where they're actually gonna hang out, so that when you bend them, which I'm about to do, pretty much something like this will work. I'm just gonna put it on here, and then I'm just gonna bend it in the direction by pushing down on this bar where I need it to go. So the whole reason for marking it is so you can know how far you bent it. Last time I did this, I was just guessing and it was a pain in the butt. So let me go ahead and bend it around a bit, put it back on, take it off, see if we can get this thing lined up perfectly. All right, so I went ahead and reattached the exhaust, and I think that's just about perfect. Centered up in there, and centered up in there. So everything looks good to go. I don't see any issues. And then while I was under here, I always had one exhaust pipe kind of hanging a little lower, and you can always see it from the rear, but now looking at the rear diff and everything, exhaust is nice and tucked up in the car. I don't see anything sticking out awkwardly. And we have plenty of clearance over axle pipes. This is close, but she's not hitting anything, so we're good there. And then even more on this side, so we're good there. So I think we're good to go on the exhaust. Plenty of clearance, it's attached. So last thing we got to do is pop on our new belts. So these are the belts I'm running right now. It's AC Delco, just easy day, simple stuff. Ran this belt before, haven't had any problems in terms of slippage or anything. I don't think I'm running a small enough pulley to really run into that. 2.8 pulley, 3-inch before, down to a 2.7, and really haven't had any issues with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss these on off camera. Pretty simple, just standard belt replacement, and I'm gonna go ahead and fire her up. So can't wait, it's gonna sound pretty epic. Get it off jack stands, all that fun stuff, and roll her down, should be good. Well, it's back together, so guess we'll go ahead and give her a cold start and see how she sounds. Well, let's see how she sounds with the cold start. Pretty much back together. So that is perfect. Front side, nice and quiet. You can actually hear the blower sucking into the throttle body right there. At the back, you hear nice cam sounds. That is the perfect tone. Oh yes, so much better. So much better. Hell yeah. All right, she needs a bath, but here's how she sounded all warmed up. Good in my opinion. One last clip I forgot to throw in. I did notice that there is pretty much no drone. So at least at 45 cruising around, droneless for the most part. I'll take it on the highway runs and see how she sounds. But yeah, I totally forgot to throw that in earlier. So cue the outro. I'll see you guys in the next video like I was saying. All right, so that's gonna go ahead and do it for today's video. Got her running again, sounding pretty good. Gonna give it some time to see how the gears work out and everything. I didn't hear any whine, I just went a little test drive. But honestly, she's sounding great. So guess we'll find out in a little bit, do a couple warm-up cycles, and well, we'll see what happens. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take it easy.